Look, Naruhodo-san. Seaman Stroganoff is gone.
Strong enough?
The guy's gone.
All these Russian names are impossible to remember.
Tra-la-la.
Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing.
Tra-la-la. I did it the great detective way. It's caroling. I know that lark-like voice.
Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us.
Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate.
Definitely, before that stringy knot crewman comes back.
It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Knot.
Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Suzuda-san? Oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things.
There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can.
I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake.
Not just for Kazuma-sama.
What do you mean?
It can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there.
Really?
We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san, by ourselves if we have to.
Yes, we will.
Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open.
It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there.
Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed
to bring animals aboard the SS Berea. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door?
Yes, although what a foolish shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room.
Maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm.
Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning.
That is a possibility. Anyway, last night Cosmo wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator.
Seaman's teapot is empty.
So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are very thirsty people.
Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either.
It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san? I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is gonna sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. So obviously for the pet, I'm guessing. I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhodo-san, it's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone else's rubbish, you know. However, these are special circumstances. There are just a few books on the desk. Nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of book she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people in Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that. Okay, so what do we even gain from this? This is... Is there even to see? I already checked everything. I was supposed to check this crap again.
Yeah, that should be everything, man. I checked everything. Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes, look. Wow, you never know where he's gonna turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Tra-la-la, I do. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Excuse me? Mr. Sholmes? What is it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is a good time to sing. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now, could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seemed to be examining something before we interrupted you. Oh yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. Did you find out anything useful? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there is nothing to report, nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry. Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman off-stand sentry in the first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes. Nothing to report. Precisely, but simply the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes, there are circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now. We can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Oh, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes brilliant. Ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Don't worry yourself. Seems to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off. Is something wrong, Suzuto-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just, well, I feel the same. Sorry. Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? The door leads to the second class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. This could be our chance. What? What's that? What's that?
Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter-mile forward. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact.
What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Suzuto-san. Suzuto-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruto-san. Looks like we avoided a collision. I think. Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine.
Hello, is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance.
Oh, that sounds like Inspector Hosonaga.
Is it you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly.
What? The bolt? Look at that. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Suzuto-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery, at least in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Somehow the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Suzuto-san took a deep breath and gently slid back the bolt. What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters?
Ah, you both look unhurt. Good.
Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship.
Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though.
How did that happen?
There's dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Swan must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop.
Everything is in chaos. Passengers are screaming. Crew are running everywhere.
This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment.
Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? You wicked intruder. Dressed all in black. You are the devil. Sorry, me. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector.
Yes?
Arrest this man. I know he did it. He is a criminal. Is it not enough that he has killed a man? Duh, and he is a stowaway as well. A vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away. He is a trespasser as well as everything else. Stealing away, trespassing, killing, she is right. You are devil. It doesn't look good, does it? There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do?
This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options.
This is terrible. What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious to properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally? I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce.
Ah, you again, the great detective.
Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently.
Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time.
What is to report? Speak!
An urgent report from a great detective,
an urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night, here on this vessel, the steamship Beria, has been solved. By me, naturally. Really? Yes, I have eliminated all of the possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Huh, you have solved it? Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing Student's boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. It is this stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it.
The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin.
Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. The locked room, that is point. The room was locked. You are all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin, despite the bolted door.
What other entrance? We never discovered one.
Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man.
The ventilator?
You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole.
You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible.
Oh, but it is. Last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words of Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, Matia Madam.
But what does it mean? What is this speckled band?
The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I'm about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cause. Behold. Allow me to introduce you all to the band, the speckled band. A snake? Indubitably. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you? You both see and observe with distinction, however. Do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one, last night your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No.
This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asugi?
It looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that wrong friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. death has nothing to do with me. The whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain, that evidence is your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet, a fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell us of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we give then, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's slough skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No?
I don't know what you are talking about.
Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend snuggled next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake, whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. A snake so dreadful we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear that there are no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime.
Oh no, could there be...
Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend.
This makes no sense.
There's no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't. It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend? Jane? Indeed. You put the serpent through the ventilator and wait. After a period, you summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training? It's not true. Having slithered through the ventilator and down the barrel cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once, and its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There could be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor you observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible. You solved the mystery.
Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Sherlock Sholmes has become such a household name.
My dear man, there's nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course, what's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. And reptiles, don't drink milk. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter, no doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic still holds. Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. I didn't know that. What about the milk? Yet, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling. But, madam, what are the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of snakes that dance to the sound of a flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears. These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. There is one other thing.
You have more? Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. And it should try harder. Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this. I think you need to step in and help again, Naruhodo-san. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, right. So cast your eyes down to your wrists again. You've done it again. Your handcuffs are gone.
Where did they go?
Fear not, I shall see they're restored after our work is done. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole death has nothing to do with me. But you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She does have a pain expression on her face. Yes, it's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it?
Yes!
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh.
Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night?
When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from his wound is worse.
And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on a pretentious night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel. As I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they?
No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet.
Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is?
Yes!
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us.
Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear.
The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind.
Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet the fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell us of a speckled band. There is regrettably the specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary. Do you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back.
If she just left it in her pocket, no one would have ever known.
Oh, yes, ploys like that are Mr. Sholmes' specialty. He's ever so clearly forced her to reveal something. I find it hard to believe that that's the skin of a snake.
Yes!
Yes, the thing you are trying but failing to conceal is a cat's toy. Precisely in the true nature of this for now infamous speckled back. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can be only one answer to that. After a feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is by some Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Zaka. A truly troublesome feline, young Zaka has proven to be. She must be caged once found. You'll forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova.
It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Zaka, she is so naughty.
Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there are no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstance of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Oh yes, I knew it was one or the other.